I'm Julian from iExcel with Julian, and in this video I'd like to cover the topic of graphing integers on number lines. Keep in mind that number lines can be horizontal or vertical. We will cover what integers are, how we graph integers on the number line, 2 questions on the board, 3 questions in iExcel, and then we'll come back here for a recap of today's lesson. Now, let's go to the board for some questions. Welcome back. Now we're on the board and I just want to do some examples. But before we do our examples, I just want to define our integers. Now, integers are positive or negative whole numbers, and keep in mind that this includes 0. Now let's start with example 1. We need to plot -3, 1, and +3. We have a horizontal number line here, but keep in mind that our number lines can be horizontal or vertical. For our horizontal number line, our negatives are on the left and our positives are on the right of the 0. So, to plot -3, we need to find where -3 is on this number line. It's right here, and all we have to do is put a dot right there. Now let's plot 1. Now, 1 is our positive number, and we just have to match it up with our 1 right here. So we put another dot there. Now, for our +3, we find 3 on our number line, and we put our dot there. Now let's move on to example 2. And here we have a vertical number line. And if you do notice, you can see that we have blank spots here. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But let me first read the question. We need to plot -50 and 30. Alright, so right off the bat, we know that 30 is right here. So we just put our dot there. But we see a pattern. We're not going up by ones, so we have to check. So 0 to 10 is +10. 10 to 20 is +20. 20 to 30, not +20, sorry. That's +10. And 20 to 30 is +10. So we're going up by 10 in the positive direction, which means if we're going in the negative direction, we are decreasing by 10, which means we are subtracting by 10. So -10, -20, -30, -40, and -50. Now let's plot -50, because now we have our negative numbers. And we can see that -50 is right here. So we just put our dot there. Now let's go to iExcel for some more examples. Now we're in iExcel, and I just want to cover 3 questions. Graph -4, -9, and -11 on the number line. Immediately, we know we can graph -4 because we can see that it's there. But now to graph -9 and -11. So to graph these, what we're going to want to do is find out the pattern. Here we see that to get from -4 to -6, we have to subtract 2. And between them, there's 2 intervals. So -2 divided by 2 is -1, which means we're decreasing by 1 per interval. So our number right there, where I put the green dot, will be -5. So we go to -8, and that should be -9, and here should be -11. Now we need to graph -16, -6, and -18. immediately I'm looking through the graph and I see that we can immediately put negative 16. But what about negative 6 and negative 18? Well, if we try to do by 1, this number would be negative 5. But if we did it again, this number should be negative 6. So that's not our rule. So to get from negative 4 to negative 8, we're subtracting by 4. So subtracting by 4 and dividing by 2, since there's 2 intervals between 4 and 8, we have negative 2, which means we're subtracting by 2 per interval. So where my arrow is pointing should be negative 6. Now let's find negative 18, which should be right after negative 16, because negative 16 and subtract 2 gets us negative 18. Now for our third and final question. We need to plot 4, 3, and negative 3. So 4, immediately you can put, and negative 3 is not on there, and so it's 3. So now let's find 3 and negative 3. From 2 to 4, we have a difference of 2, and then we divide by 2 since 2 intervals between, and we get 1 per. So we're going up in the positive direction by 1, and in the negative direction we're going down by 1. So 3 should be there, and negative 3 should be there. Now, back to the video. Welcome to the recap. In this video, we covered graphing integers. We covered what integers are. Integers are positive or negative whole numbers, and keep in mind that this includes 0. We explained how to graph our integers. We did 2 questions on the board over there, 3 questions in IXL, and now we're here in the recap. If you did happen to enjoy this video, please consider subscribing, as it helps out a ton and pushes these educational kinds of videos out to a larger audience. Thanks. Bye.